Thank you for coming back once again. So I will be continuing with the second line drugs. So if you had noticed in my previous class I had just covered 3 drugs. Now moving over to the next drug coming under second line drugs, we have cycloserine. Cycloserine. Cycloserine will be inhibiting cell wall synthesis in susceptible strain of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria and Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It inhibits cell wall synthesis in susceptible strains of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria as well as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And how it acts out is a structural analog of D-alanine. Which antagonizes the role of D-alanine in bacterial cell wall synthesis, and it will inhibit the growth. So it pretends to be the D-alanine which is responsible or which plays an important role in the bacterial cell wall. So and once that attachment takes place and the particular growth takes place, but here it antagonizes its role, and the bacterial cell wall will misunderstand, thinking that it is the actual material it requires. So this D-alanine gets attached to it, and as a result inhibition of growth can be noticed within the cells. And it should be administered in conjunction with other antitubercular drugs. Pharmacokinetics. It is absorbed orally, it diffuses all over, and CSF concentration is equal to that in plasma. Okay, whereas in previous drugs we had seen some does not enter into CSF or some enters into CSF. All right, but here there is a difference. The amount of drug that enters into CSF or remains in CSF is the same amount that you can notice within the plasma levels also. About 1/3 of the dose undergoes metabolism and the rest is excreted unchanged by kidney. Toxicity, we can find central nervous system toxicity. So patient will be feeling very sleepy, they will be complaining of headaches, you can notice tremors, and even convulsions can also be noticed, and sometimes even psychosis can also be seen. And also they go for administering pyridoxine, vitamin B6, 100 mg per day, so that all these problems can, or especially these convulsions, can be under the control. And it is very rarely used because of these CNS toxicity. But another thing is, like in case of resistant form of tuberculosis, there is no other option left other than using this particular drug. The dose administered is 250 mg BD, and if the patient is able to tolerate this particular drug, then it can be increased up to 500 mg twice a day. So this is all about cycloserine. Next, amikacin, capreomycin and kanamycin. Amikacin, kanamycin and capreomycin. So if you see the word mycin, it refers to antibiotics. So we have antibiotics here, and these are usually said to be toxic antibiotics, and they are used as reserve drugs when there is no other no other way for the other drugs working out in that particular body. Then we go for using this particular drug. Till then we will be holding back these particular drugs. Now, amikacin. So it is used to treat patients with multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. Okay, and in case if the first line drugs like isoniazid, rifampin, while using these particular drugs, it did not show or it did not bring out any good results in such kind of ordinance failure, we don't go for continuing it. We go for administering any of this like amikacin into it. And how it behaves is, it will be irreversibly binding onto the 30S subunit of ribosomes which are present in the bacteria, and it will block the recognition step in the protein synthesis, and it causes growth inhibition. Okay, so this is how amikacin works out in the body. And the toxicity which we can notice among all these three drugs, like in case of amikacin, kanamycin and capreomycin, is ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity. And so keeping that in mind, we should ensure that we don't combine these three drugs together, or we should not combine any of these drugs with streptomycin. So this is one caution that we need to keep it in mind. Since it causes ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity, these three drugs, that is kanamycin, amikacin and capreomycin, should never be combined together, nor any one should be combined with streptomycin. So this has to be kept in mind as an important point while administering medication to the patient. Now talking a little bit about capreomycin. Okay, Capreostat is the brand name in which capreomycin is available in the markets. So it is obtained from Streptomycin capreolus, and it is administered with other anti-tubercular drugs in case of pulmonary infections which are caused by capreomycin susceptible strains in Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And when do we go for using capreomycin? When the first line drugs have failed, or when there is a toxicity of those particular drugs, or due to the resistance caused by the tubercle bacilli. And another important thing that we need to remember about capreomycin is it can induce electrolyte imbalance. So it is a must to monitor all the electrolytes of your patient on regular basis. And if you see these, all the three drugs like amikacin, capreomycin and kanamycin, it won't be, or they are not effective once it is given orally. Okay, and they do not penetrate meninges, and all these are excreted unchanged by the kidney. And dose is 0.75 to 1 gram intramuscular per day. This is how this particular drug will be administered to the patients. Next, the next set of drugs: ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin and moxifloxacin. Ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin and moxifloxacin. So basically these are fluoroquinolones. And apart from that, we have gatifloxacin, sparfloxacin being added to it. Now these are said to be active against Mycobacterium tuberculosis as well as MAC, Mycobacterium avium complex, and also Mycobacterium fortuatum. Against all these particular organisms, these drugs are very effective. Now how do they behave? They penetrate and kill the cells which are lodged in the macrophages also. That is one more added benefit. And due to their good tolerability, ciprofloxacin and ofloxacin are being increasingly included in the combination regimen against multi-drug resistant tuberculosis and Mycobacterium avium complex infection in HIV patients. And they are also used to supplement ethambutol, streptomycin in cases where isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide have been stopped due to hepatotoxicity. So in those areas where these drugs are stopped, we can go for administering any of these following drugs. But there is one more drawback. Neither of these drugs like ciprofloxacin or ofloxacin, they have shown out their property of sterilizing the organisms. Okay, once it is being incorporated in long-term regimen for treatment of tuberculosis. Okay, now the generally employed doses are ciprofloxacin 1500 milligrams per day, Ofloxacin 800 milligrams per day in 2 divided doses. And sparfloxacin, another fluoroquinolones, they are said to be active against mycobacteria in vitro, but it has been clinically seen to be of a lesser extent. Okay, very less extent, but still they say it is active, but to very less extent it's said to be active. So this is all about ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin and moxifloxacin. And to this I would like to add a few important note about moxifloxacin. Moxifloxacin is available as Avelox in the market, and it will be inhibiting A subunits of DNA gyrase, resulting in inhibition of bacterial DNA replication and transcription. Okay, replication and transcription will be inhibited. And their use, that is the moxifloxacin use, it is used in multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, which are caused by organisms which are known or presumed to be sensitive to fluoroquinolones, or when the first line drug therapy has failed due to the intolerance. In such kind of cases, we go for using only moxifloxacin, right? And then we have clarithromycin and azithromycin. Clarithromycin and azithromycin. Now these are macrolide antibiotics which we have included under second line drugs, and they are active against non-tubercular mycobacteria, including Mycobacterium avium complex, Mycobacterium fortiter, Mycobacterium cancer, and Mycobacterium marinum. So against all these particular drugs, this clarithromycin and azithromycin, they are very helpful. And clarithromycin has been used to a greater extent, but azithromycin may be equally efficacious due to its higher tissue and intracellular levels. Okay, for Mycobacterium avium complex and other atypical mycobacterial infection, clarithromycin dosage is 500 mg twice a day, while azithromycin is 500 mg once in a day in combination with other drugs. Now I need to remind you that azithromycin is administered just once in a day because they tend to remain inside the body, or their plasma levels of this particular drug is 24 hours. Okay, so we can't go for giving it in a dosage of two times in a day, because it can go for causing toxicity. So we go for administering azithromycin just once in a day in combination with other drug. And in AIDS patients, lifelong therapy is required, which can also cause ototoxicity. That is one more drawback of this particular drug. Okay, so this is all about clarithromycin and azithromycin. And I want to talk about rifabutin, next drug, rifabutin, and it's also available under the brand name as mycobutin. Mycobutin. Now it's actually a ansamycin antibiotic. Ansamycin antibiotic, which is obtained from rifamycin S. It inhibits DNA-dependent RNA polymerase, preventing chain initiation. All this while, we had just seen that the growth has been inhibited, or the formation, or it will be attacking the ribosomes, and as a result of that, the transcription or the replication phases and all are getting affected. But here, the chain initiation only is being affected. It is getting inhibited over here. It is used for treatment of tuberculosis in patients on specific HIV medications, and when rifampicin is contraindicated. Adverse effects: gastrointestinal intolerance, rashes, granulocytopenia, myalgia, and uveitis. So with this, what drugs I have mentioned under classification, I have covered. And in the next upcoming video, I'll be talking about the new drugs which I have included under the second line drugs, which has been updated under the anti-tubercular drugs. So till then, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.